What is up, humans and mutants alike? My name is Kyle. We are going back through our old catalog and re uploading them onto YouTube in what we are calling Podcast of X Classics. So enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Once again, we are back. I'm talking about Dawn of X. I am Kyle. I'm with Danny. And we are doing it again. Back at it. Mutants doing mutant things. This time with some magic and some like Arthurian mythos in Excalibur, issue number 2. Now, we should have done this last week. We recorded Marauders before this, but actually Excalibur came out before Marauders. And so if we mention things that you're like, we haven't read that yet, that's probably why.
Well, fortunately, they're both pretty autonomous stories, so
yeah,
there shouldn't be too much overlap or any confusion. They're very self-contained.
Yes. Not too much overlap, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But last time we were talking Excalibur, we talked about Morgan Le Fay a little bit. We saw what happened to the Braddocks. We saw Brian get consumed. We saw Betsy.
Jamie got resurrected. So
Jamie got resurrected. We see Betsy become the new Captain Britain. And we see Rogue become encased in this catatonic kind of encasing.
She's starring in her own little subplot called The English Patient.
Yeah.
See, we're in England and it all plays together, and she's in the coma. It's perfect. They're debating on whether pulling the plug or not. Gambit's like, I'll always love her. I can't let go. And Betsy's like, you got to move on, man. It's been 20 years.
Damn. To hold on to that for so long. But we start. You ready to start this? I was almost about to jump in. I didn't even wait to see if your well-being was ready to jump in.
I'm ready for this. This isn't Hickman, but it's still good. It's Teeny Howard, right?
Yes, Howard and R. Seneca.
Yeah, so we're getting a divergence from the Hickman style of writing, but he is head of X, so this has his etchings all over it.
It has his touch, his stank.
It's stank, a little bit Hickman stank.
A little Hickman stank, but we start in English Channel, 14th century BCE, and we find these two people. They're kind of pushing this twins. Yeah, they're kind of pushing this raft out onto sea. And the seas look kind of crazy, not too crazy actually. But the raft kind of fails. It fails them, and as they're kind of failing to raft properly, we see Apocalypse kind of sneak in the background, kind of just watching, gazing from a distance, if you will.
Yeah, we're led to believe that these are two mutants that were kind of drawn to Apocalypse because he kind of became like a safe haven for people of his kind, or just kind of a beacon. People were drawn to him. And he says he will let them do what they wish, but he will not save them, and he will not. I mean, this is kind of a funny part because like the way they animate it before they cut to that panel at the bottom, you think that they're like far out in the ocean, but really they're just like 15 yards away.
They're not that far. They can easily. It's not like they're in the middle of the sea. They can literally come back.
How is it that deep from right there? Like, can't they just like swim like 15 feet and walk the rest of the way? Like trench water.
I guess the panel would look cool if they're further away. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a dick move. Like even Apocalypse could just throw a rope out to him, but he's like, nope. They gotta. I mean, he's very Darwin-esque, like social Darwinism.
Idea. Social Darwinism is his thing, man. He's the
survival of the fittest. Yeah.
Well, they couldn't hang. They couldn't do it. So why should I let them survive? Why do they deserve life if they cannot survive life on their own?
He figured they died from rafting 5 feet out into the fucking water. 50 feet out of the water. He's like, if they died from that, they're gonna die from something. So let's just end it now.
Yeah, it's not like 15 feet and they can't survive. They're on their own.
He's like, you're destined to die. I'm just gonna leave you kids alone. You weird Irish twins.
Weird Irish twins. And so yeah, Apocalypse is just like turns his shoulders, turns his back to these people as they die, and we cut to the Atlantic Ocean, miles off the coast of Cornwall, England. Cornwall. It's just a funny word.
Yeah, it is. It's a syllable away from being something a little more inappropriate.
Yeah. This is
Well,
good old Cornwall. Cornwall is what you would do to your girlfriend.
right
Cornhole is what you would do to your mistress.
there you go. There's a level of appropriateness and I guess you could say higher echelons of society. That's higher ritzy is the Cornwall.
Exactly.
Lowbrow, that's the cornhole. That's lowbrow. We're led to believe this is the same spot where those two mutant twins ate it, and that this is like a spot that is important to Apocalypse because he says even though they were not strong enough to survive, he does show them mercy by remembering and honoring their existence with this location. So he dedicates this weird spot to them in a kind
Right.
of a memorial way. But yeah, we're now in deep in the English Channel.
Deep in the English Channel, Cape Pride, my girl, she's helping sailing Excalibur group. We got Jubilee, we got Gambit, we got Rogue still hanging out in her Krakoan carbonite.
And looking awfully lot like Betsy with
A
like
lot
she
like
has,
Betsy, yeah.
especially in that one scene where it's like they're closer up to her. Her hair looks like super purple, and she has the same like flower in her hair that Betsy has. So it's like it's
Yeah,
kind of funny how it's like she's like morphing into Betsy.
yeah. And Kitty mentions like it's been a while since the old Excalibratic lighthouse since it was destroyed originally. That's referencing like the old days, the old Excalibur.
Yeah, I guess they had
Um,
a story arc done back then, and they actually brought the lighthouse down originally. So this is like kind of treading on that old mythos.
right, and apparently she wants a hot tub in the lighthouse. I guess that's cool. Hot tubs.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess in a lighthouse, it's a little weird. I
a
don't know
little
where you're
weird,
gonna run the
right?
water, but all right.
And that's when we cut to the cast page, and we're met with the title "Destiny Awaits Thee." The new nation of Krakoa offers the promise of peace to mutant kind, but peace has been hard to come by. Formerly, villainous Apocalypse has declared his intention to harness mutant magic, but not everyone is convinced, especially since experimentation seemed to put Rogue into a mysterious floral coma. All right, it's a floral coma. Yo, you like that? You down that floral coma? No, man, I just
uh,
got that regular coma, man.
Came down with a case of the floral coma. Got it in Bangkok. Got it overnighting in Bangkok. Whoops. A little bit of
It's,
floral coma.
it's just catching you up on like Otherworld and Morgan Le Fay and the Amulet of Right and the changing of the mantle of Captain Britain, and we cut to Gambit being super sad throughout this whole issue. By the way.
Most of these Excalibur issues, he's like super depressed about the whole
Yeah,
rope thing. Like,
yeah, he's down. He's
yeah.
super down, super low energy.
But we don't get to sit too long on Gambit being emo because we're interrupted by seal people. Crazy
Seal
seal people.
people, and I guess this is a like Excalibur is all about like British and Arthurian and Welsh and Scottish stuff. Have you heard of the
The
seals?
seal people, from what I know, are from Scottish folklore.
Scottish
Well,
folklore, also
yeah,
called
there's
Selkies, apparently.
yeah, and I guess there's like this whole thing about they lose their skin and something about their skin, and like they can become humans, and then once they find their skin again, they can go back to being seal
Like
people or
seal.
something.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it, but I've heard some talks about it, and it's kind of nice because it's like you said, they play on a lot of the Arthurian mythos, a lot of the folklore tied to the region. So that's kind of a cool thing because you get this bleeding of like the X-Men folklore with actual legitimate folklore, kind of how they already do in a lot of Marvel comics, where it's like the Thor mythology is all tied with
Right.
Norse mythology and shit. So this is like a nice little nod. No
Pretty
funny, and
cool. Yeah.
and probably would be right over the head of most people. Most people are like, "What the fuck are those things?"
Right. Yeah, I did not know anything about this until I read this and did a little research. That's interesting, but they've always done this throughout Excalibur, so this is just another note, another flare of what to expect throughout this run.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they're met with the seals, and they just they battle. They do a little battle. Kitty Pryde's just like, yo, what's up? She's holding on to the rail. She's gripping that rail hard.
Yeah, she's trying to looks like rudder the boat or something. Like that looks like it's
Yeah,
like
she's trying to turn the boat.
yeah, because they have that nice little animation where she's doing that big like sharp left, and they're all just kind of following along, and they're like, we need to get to land. Like let's get out of here. Like they got us surrounded, and it seems like they're after Captain Britain because when
Captain
she
Britain.
dives off, they're just like,
Yeah.
oh, let's follow this bitch.
She jumps off. They follow. She like jumps onto the rocks at the cliffs or the bluffs or whatever it is, and they kind of dock. I guess it's kind of a weird, like abrupt, like they cut from her being on the shore to like everyone being on shore.
Yeah, that she
Um,
jumped off and swam, but then all of a sudden they're all up on there, and it's like, well, how did they get past
yeah,
the seal people? Like that's confusing, but all
I
right.
feel like there could have been a panel, one or two more panels in there, kind of like showing this something. But anyways, we move on. They're just kind of hanging out on
Because they're
this.
flipper legs, they can't get up the rock.
Yeah, they can't get up the rocks. They're just kind of scratching at the rocks a little bit, and they just start walking, and they start like they all just take a. They're all like take a side. Everyone take a side. They grab the floral coma girl, and
Yeah, they carry her like they're pallbearers at a funeral. They all
yeah,
grab one side and just carry her down.
great,
And then Betsy's like, "Hey, do you guys see those druids over there? Like just
yeah,
hanging out?" And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And she's like, "There's just a bunch of druids just chilling over there,
just hanging out
just
in
kicking it.
place.
Like, what's that about?" And the druid's like, oh, "You can see us. You're a seer. What's up?"
Here, yes,
They
and
kind of
then
they gotta kind of like jump into her head and start communicating with her telepathically. It's pretty cool.
right, and they come. They talk about how Akaba destroyed the lighthouse, right?
Yeah, and then it was kind of like just to rebel against Apocalypse and
Yeah,
kind of throw their stake in the sand. And they kind of touch on about how like she's is the one that's being recommended as or I guess you could say she's the temporary new Captain Britain because even she's like he's not dead yet. Like he'll be back. I'm just holding the mantle for now. And they're like, well, we got to decide on if you're worthy to be the new Captain Britain, regardless. So they have to decide if they even acknowledge her as the new Captain Britain. That's one of the things they bring up. But then they also touch more on the Akabra people and that one woman, Mariana Stern. They talk about her.
right. From
Like
the
I
Coven.
guess
Yeah,
that's what the Seal people were tied from. Is that it was like her working with Morgan Le Fay sent the Seal people after them to try to disrail their journey.
right. And this is all happening in her head, right? Or like in
Yes, they're showing the images about her, the tower, the lighthouse burning down, and then all the stuff them talking about wanting to have her let her be the new Captain Britain or them deciding on it. It all is a telepathic conversation. At least that's what the thought bubbles lead me to believe.
right. And then all of a sudden we get the druids and Braddock help to create a new lighthouse, which just pops up.
Well, they put fucking Rogue down
to put
in the
Rogue
area of the
down
old
in
lighthouse,
the
and
lighthouse,
instantly
and it
she
just
grows into one.
yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was just like, oh, and now the lighthouse is back, and it's Rogue.
Rogue becomes a lighthouse. Rogue's becoming a lot of things in this issue,
She was the English patient. Now she's a lighthouse. Who knows what she'll be next?
right? And then we get from the Grimory, is that how you pronounce that?
Grimoire.
Grimory of Apocalypse, which are just like some notes that he's written, um, and it's just like pretty like him talking in hyperbole. It seems just
Well,
strongest among us to elevate. What's up?
well, as I say, you get that weird like architectural outline of like what the lighthouse is, but I'm still not sure what he's trying to convey here because at the top it says
Right.
theoretical yield, empowerment focus set to the next to that, and then it says not yet empowered, focus required, see footnote A. And I'm like, what is this an outline for? And then it says something in Krakoan at the bottom, but I wasn't able to translate that.
I didn't translate it. We need to start translating these
We got
things.
to go find that. They gave us the legend and the key for all the words, so we'll have to go
Yeah.
back and look that up. I didn't even think about that until now. I was like, wait, I can translate that because they have it, like all the letters broken down.
Yeah. Interesting. One of the weirder charts that we've seen throughout this.
Yes. Correct.
It looks like a dick.
Yeah, very phallic. Very
say
phallic, yeah. Yep. It's super phallic.
But we move back. They're just kind of hanging out. And
well, they had that little footnote that kind of went into it where it says,
oh, right.
Yeah, he says, like, I sometimes feel a duty to ensure that those of us who are born before these times are not forgotten. So it's like kind of leaning back to what he was talking about with those who died and kind of how to remember them.
Right.
Something about how, like, even in death, they find themselves to be superior to those of the humans. And it's like, it says, take the two hailing from the 4th century BCE. In less than 2 millennia, the carbon has reformed into a large crystal structures containing the power of the ages within. What? What the fuck does that mean?
Right?
The power of the ages within. Like, okay. And carbon crystals? Okay. So if mutants die, they turn into carbon crystals? Cool.
Guess so. Interesting. But they're just like hanging out. We got Gambit pretty bummed out, and Betsy kind of goes to bed, and Jubilee. It cuts to later, right? And then Jubilee. Wait, is there anything of note that we should mention from this like one page? Because I feel like it's just them kind of. We got to bring them back. It's just like we got to do this. We got to do.
It's most of them just being like, I miss Brian from Betsy. Fucking Gambit's like, I miss Jubilee. Or no, I miss Rogue. And then Jubilee's like, I miss Shogo.
Shogo.
Them all feeling detached, but there's nothing really. It's more of just like, we're in the lighthouse now. Things are weird. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Gambit's really concerned because he's just like, well, she used to just be like, something we can move around, but now she's built into the lighthouse. Like, what do we do? And then we cut to later.
Jubilee just hanging out, sleeping. Not hanging out. She's trying to sleep. We hear Jubilee's name mentioned off in the distance, and we're met with Apocalypse holding Shogo, and she's just all like, "My baby, give me my baby." And Apocalypse is like, calm down, calm down.
He fucking Palpatines or like Vader. He's just like, you just take it easy and like pushes her to the ground.
Yeah.
And he talks about how like he's so small and so human. And Jubilee's like, I can't move. Give me my Shogo. And I was like sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, Shogo's human, I guess. Like I always forget his weird backstory. I thought he's supposed to be mutant, but I don't know. Because it's her adopted kid, right? Like it's not really her kid.
I don't think it's her kid. I don't believe, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, all this stuff went down before Dawn of X, so
yeah,
I'm out.
I was not in that game at the time.
Yeah, me neither. But it turns out all was a dream. It was a dream
all
sequence.
was a dream, but it freaks her out and she bails.
Patrick Duffy was never dead. Show was alive.
Show's alive. And while that's happening, Betsy's like
Having
met
a
with
dream of her own.
she's having her own dream, and she's met with this like Firefox, this Pokemon, this awesome Pokemon.
Yeah, wielding a sword. That's like an ethereal sword of flame on its back.
Yeah.
And it's like playing with her, and it takes her to this weird statue of Apocalypse.
Yes.
And we're led to believe that there's like music playing, and there's a plate of food at the hands of the statue of Apocalypse. And it says, "He will use us, we can use him." And I guess that's implying
Like eat the
Apocalypse
fruits of
can
him.
be used as well as take advantage of those who can be used. It's very interesting. I guess that's what the food is supposed to symbolize too. It's supposed to be like hyperbole for like, the bounty that he gives is good for him as it is for us. But I feel like that's a light thing that they're kind of hinting at. They're not heavy-handed with it. And she's still like following the weird Firefox thing and saying like, "Wait, who the fuck are you? Where am I?" And the Firefox thing never really talks. It just kind of talks through its mind. Like it kind of says cryptic metaphors. It says, "You could trust your beauty." Or Betsy, I'm a good girl. Purr. I'm like, what?
It's interesting. I got like more Jesus metaphors from this, where it's like eating the flesh of Jesus, or in this case, Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, take for my flesh and eat. Like he's offering up like the sacrificial version of himself.
Kind
I
of,
get
yeah.
it. I get it. All right. All right.
It was
Huh.
interesting though.
Yeah.
Definitely like
Foreshadowing
religious,
something. Yeah.
religious like undertones for
Very
sure.
much. Yeah.
Very, yeah. But then we get a yank, and she wakes up to Shogo, just nibbling, gnashing on the hair, on that purple hair, and we get Jubilee comes in, just like, "Yo, sorry," and
Almost feels like they were kind of hinting at like Shogo might have been doing it, like maybe
right,
something tied to the kid. But I thought the kid
perhaps,
was supposed
but
to be human, so who knows?
I don't know, but dreams, interesting dreams that like alert kind of everyone, but what happens is druids kind of come out of the forest, and they're all like, "Yo, they're back, yo," and they go or Betsy jumps down and goes
She's
to meet
like, check out this superhero
yeah,
landing. Look how
she
dope it
does
is.
a dope ass superhero landing. She doesn't put the knee fully down. That is key. You never want to put the knee fully down. That's how you get bad knees as a superhero.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Just bend the knees.
Good landing. And what's happening here? The druids are.
They acknowledge her as Captain Britain. They say like, we talked amongst our like the leaders and everything, and we have decided that you are the new Captain Britain, and we put our full force and support behind you moving forward. And she's like, that's cool. And he's like, and it's good that we did this because the clan of Cabra is attacking as they turn to the right.
Right.
They're like, well, glad we got all the political discourse and pleasantries out of the way because now it's time to throw down.
Throw down, and then we get like this epic panel. Pretty
Can we note though how Betsy is pulling out her psychic sword? Like she's
psychic sword,
unsheathing it like it's a real fucking
like it's a
claymore.
real sword. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's an interesting new use of it. I like it. I dig it. Very, very English. But yeah, the Coven of Kava attacks. Um, things go down. People fight. What's going on with Apocalypse here? Is he?
He's psychically
He's
manifesting into
psychically
it.
kind
Him,
of just there, right?
yeah, him and Betsy are having a convo while this like epic battle is going on. The
Yeah.
druids are wielding like nature magic, so they're like literally one of the druids say like, "Don't worry, my lady, you have the entire earth of Britain behind you," and she meant that literally as the ground like ruptures up The Clan of Cobra members are kind of remind me of like banshees. Like they kind of look like that kind of style of design. Not Banshee the mutant, but like the folklore banshees kind of look like that.
Mhm.
But they're like floating through the air with like torn
Yeah,
legs and like wispy
yeah,
kind of design.
I dig
They're
it.
flying in like Dementors out of Harry Potter,
Yeah,
and and the druids are like wrenching up all this. So it's like sorcerers versus druids. It's pretty cool. It's like a nice little magic like throwdown.
I
But then
dig
you
it.
have Betsy with her shield, like front and center, like fighting against them with her sword while having a conversation with Apocalypse. Like it's nothing. And
Right.
Gambit jumps in too and
He
throws
jumps
down a
in
bit.
eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
And we cut to Shogo and Jubilee, and she's met with Apocalypse, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And Apocalypse
Cleaning
just
up my mess.
straight up, just one attack, no need for any more. He's just like, just a quick little attack, and he just instantly, swiftly destroys them all.
Yeah, because the
The
whole time he's
entire Drew, all
talking
the
to
Drew.
Betsy, he's like saying like, "You want me to come take care of this? Like they're my people. They're foolish enough to think that magic would allow them to
Yeah,
usurp the mutants in their superiority." And she's like, "No, just stay there. We don't want to deal with you." And then he's like, "Fucking, I'm here. I'm doing this." And
I'm
just in
doing this.
one fell swoop,
Yeah.
all wiped out.
Because the Coven of Kaba, they were agents of Apocalypse, and then he was just all like, I'm bored of this, and he abandoned them, right? So
Yeah, he
then,
just
like,
forgot about it.
yeah, so he's kind of they left him in like this state of like no leadership. So he's just like he doesn't care, he doesn't give a shit. He's just like I recognize it as my problem. I'll fix it. You want me to fix it? I'll fix it. No,
Fixed.
I'll fix
Blah.
it. I'm gonna fix it. Nah, I'll fix it. It's
I'll
cool.
fix it with the crack of boom. I like the charge up too, like when he is charging his laser, like the yeet.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, that's good. I love this. I love this. And yeah. So he handles it, and she's just like, I didn't want your help. I didn't need this.
said we had it. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Check out my dope ass hammer.
Yeah, but this hammer is pretty awesome. This is like, what are you doing here? Why are you doing this? And he's just like, my hammer is cool though, right?
Yeah,
You know?
he's like, I'm here to defend this lighthouse. This house is a place for power for mutant kind, but also is a kind of like a mutant, not sanctuary, but more of like a monument. So it's like something deeper to Apocalypse. So he's like putting himself forth as like the protector of it. Though why he needs the hammer? I mean, the hammer's dope. It's like a pole arm with a hammer on the end instead of like a blade.
Yeah.
Very strange. But why does
Interesting.
he need that?
He doesn't need it. He doesn't
Yeah,
need it. He's
maybe he just
just
wants to look cool.
it's just something to hold while he says something very epic.
Maybe he wants to make fun of Betsy. He's like, I could make weapons out of nothing too, bitch. Like you
Right?
make nothing. I have all your powers.
But they're essentially talking about how as time passes, like the darkness consumes Brian more and more, and you're not gonna get him back. So you got to go to Otherworld, and you got to handle this shit, yo. You got to handle it.
I'll hold down
Just
things here. You
yeah.
go deal with shit there.
See, he's just like, see how I just handled? I swept my shit under the rug in one hit. You got to go do that. Go
So
over there. Go do that.
get the fuck out of here. They pop open a teleporter. The Jubilee's like, we gotta drop off my kid first. And then her kid just disappears, and she's like, wait, where's my kid?
Where's my
And then
kid?
they're instantly teleported through it to a giant fucking dragon. Looks like a full-grown like Lockheed that's like blue instead of purple.
Yeah,
It's like green fire instead of normal.
yeah, and she's just like, "Where's my baby? Baby, is that you, baby?"
Where's
And
my babe?
and yeah, so Shogo's doing some weird things, and they're in like Otherworld, and they're teleported instantly, and shit's cracking off. But that is where we're left. Actually, we get a druid lullaby. Should we read the druid lullaby?
I want to know why Gambit's hoodie's up, and I didn't even know he had a hoodie built into his clothes.
Right? I've never seen that. That
Hey,
looks
Sarah, I look back through
he
his
wouldn't
design. He had it, I guess. It just was never put
never
up.
worn. Okay.
Yeah,
So
he just never put it up. But for some reason now he has it on. He's like trying to look like a druid or
he
something,
looks
or
like
like a
full
rogue.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, like a rogue. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it though.
We get that druid lullaby you were saying, which is kind of weird, but like nice little tidbit to end on.
Yeah, Druid Lullaby. So, my child, when I first met you, I noted your form, fingers, and toes all accounted for, skin soft and whole, eyes bright, cry strong. And I watched your mind quicken into a curious thing, a thing that wandered for the uncertain, more than it craved the safety of firelight. Firelight? Firelight.
Yes.
Uh, but when you wander past the light, which you will, when you will, into those beckoning circles of flora, which you will, it calls to us all. When you choose the thrill of the hidden above the safety of my arms, you are your own until you breach the circle, until you breach the places where the worlds grow thin and your skin slips from you like your birth call?
Your birthing canal or
Birthing
call?
can
Call?
call.
Oh yeah, call. Yes, sir.
Call. From there, I cannot promise that if I call your name, you will answer. In the land beyond this one, when you become your own. I don't know what call means. What does call mean? Do you know what call means?
I guess they're phrasing it like in like just a different spelling of the word, like just call, like your call to duty, your call to answer. I guess maybe. I don't know. I mean,
Oh, it's cowl,
cow. Oh,
but it's spelled weird apparently.
yeah.
I guess cowl could be spelled with a U as well.
All right. So it's yeah.
Okay, birthing cowl.
Oh, it's okay because it's like it's a head. It's like for like a. It's like an indoor headdress
Yes, yeah,
for like a woman. Like that's a birthing headdress.
sure.
Or no, wait, the membrane that encloses the fetus.
Hmm.
That's what they're talking about. It's because it's talking about birthing, so
Okay.
it's the
Yeah.
fetus. Wow, Jesus.
God damn.
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
You arise from the foam of the placenta as it burrs through your canal. It's like, whoa, you guys are getting depictive here. But I mean, this works because they're talking about a lot of stuff here that kind of works off of like Jubilee's kid, those original mutants, the new changing of times that's coming to the Britain and Captain Britain and herself now, and I guess I could understand what they're going with here. It's supposed to kind of highlight the aspects of new birth and the tribulations that come with it.
Sure, sure. Um, but this is interesting. This is weird, bizarre. We're going
Since
in
it's a
an
fourth century druidic lullaby, is it a real fourth century druidic lullaby, or did Hickman just add it?
this is all like Hickman's little flair. Um, Hickman came in. He's
Yeah,
like, I
like
got
it's
something for you. It's like I don't need this. It's like, put it in
put it in my infograph,
my graphs.
my graphs,
Oh,
but it's
hold on, the
possible.
graphs.
It's possible that this is a legitimate like fourth century like druidic lullaby. It could be. It could be legit, but it's entirely possible that it's just for the canon of the story.
Sure. Will we research it? Maybe. We'll
Probably not.
probably.
There's a lot of issues to read.
There's so many issues to read, so
If
much
it comes
research
back
to
up,
do.
then yeah, fuck it.
Yes, we shall see. But that concludes uh,
Excalibur.
Excalibur for
Issue
this issue. What did you think of this issue?
It's good. I like Excalibur's been good. All of them
Yeah.
are very well. Like I like that Apocalypse gets a lot of screen time in Excalibur, and usually when
Yes.
he does it, he's dope as fuck. Just like wrecking people like he normally does, or dropping some profound knowledge. I like the story and the mythos that they're building with the druids and the druidic folklore, English folklore, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool because it feels like you're kind of touching in the waters of a lot of other novels before X-Men, before any of these writers were writing stuff. Like we're going into more classic literature, so that's a cool vibe, and I really enjoy that. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what the relevance of Jubilee's kid is and what is going on with Rogue.
What's
That
going on
I'm
with
very
Rogue? She's a
excited.
lighthouse now.
Yeah,
I'm
but
excited for
she
final.
always gonna be Lighthouse.
Yeah, no, she's gonna. There's so many forms she's gonna take. I hope she keeps changing. Honestly, I hope she becomes something else. She becomes like a car or something, or like an airplane or a vehicle.
Maybe she'll become Carol Danvers again. Like she'll absorb
Just take her powers
again
again.
Carol's powers and take Captain Marvel's powers.
Does she? She doesn't have those anymore, right? Or
Oh
does she?
no, that's they I think they got rid of that, and then she went on to having Power Man's powers, like you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about,
yeah.
Simon whatever, and she took his abilities, and then actually she just went back to being Rogue. So right now she's just Rogue, but Rogue Lighthouse.
Fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Any moments that stand out to you the most that you enjoyed?
Well, gosh, Apocalypse just wrecking those people in like one blast, just like what a
Vaporizing them.
done. That was easily the standout part for me.
That was fun. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite moments as well. I I dug a look at that Firefox thing. That was pretty cool. I don't know the point of it, but I like the
Right?
design.
Yeah, like I don't know where they're going with that, but it seems interesting. Maybe that was a bit of a red herring, but it almost seems like the way they transitioned it, it was supposed to seem like Shogo was a part of it, but I don't know. That might have just been like a
Could be.
coincidence.
He was touching her forehead. Maybe he has some bizarre psychic powers.
Yeah,
I mean,
something
things are
like that.
going down. We ended on a giant dragon thing.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? Only time will tell. Any other thoughts on Excalibur? Any other things that you want to mention?
No, that was it. I'm just excited to see the next one. The Excalibur and X Force have been the ones that I'm most like every time they finish, I'm like, oh, get to the next one. Get
Yeah.
to the next one. These are good.
Mm-hmm.
The Excalibur is like what, which is crazy to me. Because I would, if you would have told me like 10 years ago that Excalibur would be almost as good, if not just as good as X Force, I'd be like, what
Right?
the fuck is going? Is X Force just that bad now? Like, what do you say? I've never read an Excalibur issue that I was excited
It's
about. That's
great.
why
Yeah.
I never followed it. Because every
I
time they
was
try,
yeah.
it's like, this is weird.
I wasn't a big fan back in the day. I read some here and there, and I was just like,
They're
yeah.
weird.
It's weird. It's off kilter. Um,
Juggernaut's like a good guy, and all these other weird characters, and Rachel Gray's there, but she goes by Phoenix number two, Phoenix 2, and I'm just like, what is with
what's
your
happening?
naming?
Yeah. Um, but this is great. I am digging it. I'm loving everything. That we have been seeing. I'm digging like the little tidbits of
Folklore and
British
mythology.
folklore and mythology and Scottish folklore and mythology and all the folklore and mythology of the UK and Arthurian stuff, which is cool. Which I dug. I'm digging. I thought I wouldn't dig. I really did. I thought I wasn't going to dig this, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you think that you're having like kind of a bit of a peanut butter and chocolate situation where you're like, how would X-Men and Arthurian folklore like really work together? And then you see it here, and you're like, oh, all right, I guess it worked.
It
It's really
works,
weird. It
right?
actually works. They're
Hey,
kind of meshing. This is bizarre.
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? But hey, I will take it and I will take what is to come. But next episode, we will be talking. What are we talking about next episode? We are doing
New Mutants
New Mutants
issue
returning
2.
back. What's going to happen to all of the kids out there in Shi'ar space? Some of them are surrounded by some forces. One of them's drunk and abandoned on a planet while the Starjammers just take off and go fuck you guys.
I left him for
We're
dead.
out. We're
Uh,
out. So we shall see what happens next. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure you know if you read it already.
oh yeah, that New Mutants issue is a good one. That is a good. They have
Yeah.
some really crazy reveals about a certain child of someone that
Uh-huh.
we did not know about. I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. So get
Yeah.
ready for that.
Yeah. This is going to be exciting, but that'll do it for Podcast of X. This week, I am Kyle. I'm with Danny. Remember, the mutants are going to murder you, and you are going to like it.
Instead of the robots this time, it's the mutants.
Did I say mutants? No, yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
robots. No, no, no. Damn it.
I was like, now the mutants are gonna murder you. It's like I
Yeah,
get that the
no,
robots would, but why are the mutants gonna
no,
protect
no.
us against the robots?
Yeah,
What happened?
the mutants should protect us. The robots are going to murder you.
Yeah, this is age of apocalypse. The
Yeah.
mutants are going to murder you. You will
Yeah.
be subjugated and murdered. Enjoy.
Yes, but that'll do it this week. Peace. Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, we are going back through our classic episodes and uploading them onto YouTube in what we are calling Podcast of X Classics. So be sure to be on the lookout for more classic episodes. And be sure to check out freespeechgeek.com.